Hi there, welcome to Boxing Deep Dive. I'm Lyndon Hosking, and as always, great to have you along for another episode of Dream Fights. It's our favourite time of the week where we get to match up two fighters from the past against each other and argue and whatever it might be, debate, discuss, whatever you want to call it, and decide who we think wins and why. I'm going to bring in my co-host for this episode, the one and only Grant Tassie Brown. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Lyndon. Mate, me and you don't argue. We only argue when the Golden Greek, Peter Maniatis, is here.
Well, he hasn't graced us for quite some time, Pete. I think he was a little bit maybe put out that he was always being, always tipping the wrong guy, I suppose. But we can't wait to have Mike Altamura back anyway, which hopefully should only be a few weeks away.
Well, mate, can I say I'm honoured to say he called me last night from Ignigu or some African country. I didn't. Yeah, but we had a good chat, obviously, about things, and yeah, man. He comes back the day before my show, the 10th of June.
Okay. All right, we'll let him rest up, and we'll get him back hopefully because I'm actually away for that one as well. So I'll obviously see him when we get back. So that'll be good.
Here we go again. Here we go.
No, I'm not saying it again.
He's away.
The classic fight, so I just couldn't shut up about all the things I've done. So
he's somewhere. See, people think I'm the fucking arrogant. People think I'm the big the arrogant one, mate. I'm humble as tonight.
I can't help myself, mate. I can't help it when I've been to a fight or I'm going to a fight. I can't help it. So hey, it's for our viewers out there.
And neither you should, Lyndon. Hey, it's our passion, mate. It's our passion. But you know what, Lyndon?
Yeah.
I'm only arrogant when I beat Peter Maniatis' ass in the quiz 9-2.
Which is every week.
All day, baby. All day. The other day was a clinic, mate, and I posted on Instagram. I didn't get any reply from him. I tagged him, but
is that right?
It was a real. I got a lot of people messaging me. They go, "Wow, you really give him an ass kicking," and "Wow, you're really good at the quiz." And I just, you just got to pay me my dues. I'm one of the best there is in boxing history, mate. No one can touch me when it comes to quizzes, mate, because I know this game more than anyone. Yeah. More than anyone.
It'd be interesting to see
I couldn't care. I couldn't care who you are.
Interested to see how we go if we got maybe Mike Altamura to step up to the plate.
Mate, bring it on, mate. What are you trying to fret me, intimidate me? Bring it on, mate. I don't care.
All good, mate. Well, this is Dream Fights. This is probably one of my favourites for the week. I really love to do this. It's probably a bit more fun when we've got a few more people, but you and I, of course, can discuss it and give our tips on who we think is going to win. Before we get into this week's, mate, let's go to last week's episode. It was Azuma Nelson and Vasily Lomachenko. I think from memory, we both went for Nelson.
Azuma. Yeah.
Well, the poll said otherwise. 67% went for Lomachenko, only 33% for Nelson. I think someone actually commented that said if you picked Nelson, you don't really know much about boxing, which was a little bit offensive.
Did you pick Nelson?
Yep, got a head stuck in the sand.
Well, tell the fucking person. Ask them how many fucking fights they had. Compare their record to mine and yours. You're a 96 Atlanta Olympian. How many Commonwealth Games, or just the one Commonwealth Games?
98, yeah.
One Commonwealth game, one Olympics. How many Oceanias did you win?
3.
How many Australian titles?
6.
All right, myself. Oh, hang on. You there, got me?
Yeah, mate, I got you. All good.
Australian representative, Golden Gloves, state titles, undefeated as professional, trained under Johnny Lewis, Jeff Fennick, Billy Hussein, sparred Costa Zoo, Mundine, Victor Chinian. Been with them all. If you think you know more about boxing than me and Lyndon, and all I can say is fucking prove it. Fucking prove it.
I think he was might have been just calling us old, I think, mate. We've just gone for Nelson because we're stuck in the 80s and 90s. But hey, I'm happy to stay there, mate.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Like Loma could beat him.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I don't think he does. But he wouldn't go, oh, no way he wouldn't. Yeah. It's a good fight. It's young versus the old. We think Nelson, but, but don't go fucking being cheeky to us, mate, because we'll fucking buy and sell you all day, mate, when it comes to this boxing game.
Look, I agree with you. I think this fight could have gone either way, like nearly all of our dream fights could. So I think if you're out there, it's okay to have an opinion, but just keep it respectful.
All right, please give us feedback. But I'm going to tell you what, Lyndon. See, I'm playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, if you know what I mean.
I hear you, mate. I hear you. Well, let's get into this week's fight. Your choice again. Yes, it was your choice for this one. I had last week, sorry, didn't I? Yet Nelson and Lomachenko. This one's for you, mate. And this was actually, coincidentally, a request from, I think it was James Gorman, I think it was, requested this one. So thanks, James. He's always comments on all our videos, watches them all, loves all our shows. So thanks, James, for watching. And as I said, just coincidentally that he picked the same as you, mate. Who have you got?
I've got the great Argentinian legend Carlos Monzon versus the great Philadelphian fighter Bernard Hopkins.
This is a ripper, mate, and we've had a few requests for Monzon in the past and Hopkins. I'm not sure we've had Bernard Hopkins before, or definitely not Carlos Monzon. I think we've had a couple that might have requested Canelo or Hagler against Monzon, but yeah, this is the first. But yeah, it's good to have these guys in. It's good to sort of mix it up a little bit rather than the usual names, but yeah, a mouth-watering clash, mate. And what sort of made this sort of a fight that you wanted to see?
Sorry, Lyndon?
Sorry, I was just going to say, what made you choose this fight? Well, these two guys to match up against each other.
Mate, look, I mean, Carlos Monzon's pretty dear to my heart because my father really was a Monzon fan. So I grew up hearing my dad talk about Carlos Monzon, how he's a great Argentinian legend who held the world title for, I don't know, ridiculously like 8 or 10 years, so many defenses. He was a movie star, rock star in Argentina. No one was bigger, probably only later on Maradona. That's how big he was. And, just Tony Mundine, who's my dear friend and the man I love and respect, went over and fought him, in Argentina and had to be walked to the ring with the military because they were saying Monzon, kill him, and Tony done quite well, until the fight got stopped. And against Monzon was he's one of the best middleweights, top 1, top 2, top 3 in the world. Bernard Hopkins, after the Roy Jones loss, just beat everyone. The middleweight title. He had. I think he might have broke Monzon's record for the most defenses. Yeah. And I'm not sure if Triple G broke his record or not. But I mean, Hopkins had the title for years and years and years. He beat everyone, mate, like great fighters, and then he went up and beat Tarver, and still, beat young guys like Kelly Pavlik, and just when you thought Bernard Hopkins was finished, he just kept beating these guys, and unbelievable. And so like both these guys are two of the most longest reigning middleweight champions ever, and they are you talk about middleweights, you're talking Hagler, Monzon, Hopkins, Harry Greb, but guys that held the title like Hagler, Monzon, and Hopkins, and probably recently Triple G, they're some of the longest reigning middleweight champions you can ever think of.
Yeah, and you're right, mate. Well, let's have a look at both combatants. First of all, we'll have a look at Carlos Monzon, obviously, as you said, from Argentina. 87, 3, and 9 draws, if you will, with 59 KOs. You can see there he won the middleweight title in 1970, regained it in 1976, won the WBA, WBC, and WBC again 6 years later, as you said. Here's some of his biggest wins: the 2 wins over Nino Benvenuti, 2 wins over Emil Griffith, the decision over Benny Briscoe, I think, fought Hagler as well. Obviously, Jose Napoles, one of the greats. Our man Tony Mundine, and then the 2 wins over Rodrigo Valdez for the world titles. Inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990. So, interesting there, mate. 9 draws. You don't often see that.
No, you don't, mate. You don't. But, I'm not sure why, but...
Yeah, he was really, like you said, like the matinee idol back then. It was almost like he was the Argentinian version of an Oscar de la Hoya, wasn't he?
$1,000,000%. As I said, in Argentina, he was royalty, biggest thing. years later, someone like Diego Maradona, and we all know how they are about soccer. But Monzon for a boxer, next level. There's been no one like him since. Like Madonna Martinez, great fighters, but no one's like Monzon. He was a rock star. He dated Miss Universe. He dated the Miss Universe or the Miss Argentinian girls. He dated actresses. He went to all the big events. He was a wild man. He was known for sort of attacking a few reporters and whoever else he didn't like, and they used to cover it up because he was so big. But no one was bigger than Carlos Monzon in his career in Argentina. He was next level. Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines, De La Hoya, he was it.
Yeah. And he and surprisingly, so before, like, he was dating, I think it was Miss Universe, whatever it was, he actually ended up going to jail, or got sentenced to jail for 11 years for, I think it was 11 years or something like that, for supposedly murdering his girlfriend at the time. And tragically, he was killed on day release. He was actually in the car and he rolled the car and was killed. So was another person in the car, and I think someone else was injured. So this is a real tragic way to go out.
Yeah, tragic. Look, he's very. Look, I don't, not going to speak about what happened. I don't know, but I mean, look, they reckon he was known for attacking a lot of blokes, and he was always he come from nothing, and he still had that street mentality, even though he was a wealthy legend. But I mean, I think they always covered up for him because he was always hitting someone, and but obviously very, very, very. I guess he had some demons in himself, but look, as a fighter, mate, he was absolute one of the greatest, mate, one of the greatest.
He was. So just a couple of his achievements there. So Fighter of the Year in 1972 by The Ring. Into the Ring Hall of Fame in 83, World Boxing Hall of Fame 83, second greatest middleweight of all time. I'm not quite sure who they had as number one. I'm assuming it might have been Harry Greb or maybe Hagler, I suppose. And multiple time Fighter of the Year. And as I said, like, he died in 1995 in the car accident, which was a really tragic way to go. The lady that he was accused of killing was actually his wife. I didn't know. It was just thought it might have been one of his girlfriends. But either way. But yeah, all that aside, he was an absolute legend of a fighter, and one that will go down in history, as I said there, in the International Boxing Hall of Fame as well. So let's get on to his opponent, Bernard Hopkins, the Executioner, 55-8-2, 32 KOs. You can see there, multiple time world champion, started in 95 right up to 2014. I won't rattle them all off there, but just multiple world champion, numerous times. The biggest wins there, Mercado when he won his first world title in 95, and you can see there, Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Tony Otava, Winky Wright, Kelly Pavlik, Roy Jones Jr. to some extent later in the career, and John Pascal, who was another young fighter who he wasn't supposed to beat, and he did. And then you can see there, International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee 2020. He's actually being inducted this year after, obviously, with COVID for the last 2 years. So Tassie, what more can you say about this guy? Just one of the greats, and he just kept winning. He didn't have the greatest style, didn't seem the most talented, but he just won fight after fight and title after title.
Yeah, look, he didn't. He knew how to win, and I mean, it wasn't a flashy style. He didn't have the flashy personality, but I mean, the thing is, he knew how to win. He was a very cagey, slick fighter. He'd always get the fight at his pace, which is more of a slow pace. He was a good counter puncher, good defensively. A boxer puncher, but wasn't the biggest puncher, wasn't the most fastest boxer, but he just done everything right, and he just knew how to win. I mean, he just kept winning and winning and winning. And to beat guys like Winky Wright, Kelly Pavlik, Trinidad was a good win. De La Hoya will come up in weight. I didn't really rate that. Trinidad came up as well, but Trinidad had a very good win against William Joppy as a middleweight. So a good win over. Trinidad was his biggest win, I think, in now that time. Look, Roy Jones Jr., I don't count those wins because Roy was past it. Roy flogged him when they were at their best. But, I mean, besides Roy, Hopkins, he just beat everyone, mate. He went up and beat Tava, Pascal, fell a bit short against guys like Chad Dawson and that. But, I mean, he just, as I said, mate, he knew how to win. He was nothing flashy, But look at the record he had, and
and you see
what can you say, mate? Yeah, mate, he's getting in their head, mate. You know, he just he knew the mental warfare was one of Hopkins' best weapons.
Yeah, and I really like him as an analyst on TV as well. He really knows his stuff. He speaks really well. He's really to the point.
Well, he talks the truth. He speaks the truth.
Yeah.
He don't mince his words.
Exactly. So he just a few facts about Bernard Hopkins. Fastest ever knockout in an IBF title fight. It was. He knocked out Steve Frank in 24 seconds. Yep. You there, Taz? Yep. Longest. There you go. Longest reign as world middleweight champion. 10 years, 2 months, and 17 days. That is a massive achievement. Most opponents beaten for the world middleweight title, 18. Surpassed Felix Sturm. Most title defences as world middleweight champion, 20, surpassing Carlos Monzon of all people there. Oldest fighter ever to win to hold the middleweight title, 40 years and 6 months. It became the oldest fighter ever to win a world championship, 48 years and 1 month. You can see there also, or you can't see them, I'm just reading out. The oldest fighter to unify the titles when he was 49 years of age. And remained champion until he was just 2 months shy of his 50th birthday when he lost to Sergey Kovalev when he tried to unify the light heavyweight title. So the executioner / the alien, whatever you want to call him, I think he's well and truly earned that International Boxing Hall of Fame induction, which, as I said, happens this month. So, yeah, that's an amazing record to be 2 months shy of 50 years old and you're still world champion.
Yeah, mate, he just, as I said, he just kept winning. You know, when you know how to win, you can't be beat. He just knew how to win.
Exactly. All right, mate. Well, let's get to the main part of the show. We'll obviously had a good look at both guys there. I'm going to let you go first. Carlos Monzon versus Bernard Hopkins. Who wins and why?
Never on this show have I been so tired. I've never had anything this undecided for myself. Still right now. Right now, mate. They're two of the greatest middleweights of all time. Monzon was a legend. You know, he beat everyone in his era. Hopkins just knew how to win. Styles make fights. Mate, I'll tell you now, brother, anything could happen. If anyone goes against my decision, it's fine because I've got no issue of anyone going against what I'm going to pick because it's 50-50. It's a coin toss. Probably because I grew up hearing about Monzon so much of my dad, I'm going to go Monzon split decision.
Split decision, okay, yep. Well, it's a tough one because you really can't break it down to the whole whys because there's so many intangibles in there about who might win and why, isn't it? It's a really tough one. So, without explaining it, it's just Monzon by split decision.
Yeah, is it in Argentina or America?
No, it's got to be America, mate. We'd probably make it at the MGM Grand or T-Mobile Arena or something like that.
You might not have got Monzon over there at that stage, though.
Yeah, maybe not. Well,
I'm just gonna go, mate. I don't know, like as I said, mate, it's just a great fight. It's a tough one. Look, I done it for this reason. That's why I done it because it's so tough, mate. How can you split two middleweights like this, mate? Like they both were the same person. They both reigned the longest. So chuck Hagu in the mix as well. I'm just gonna go Monzon split decision.
Okay, no drama. All right. Well, I'm going to make it interesting. I'm actually going to go the other way, and I'm exactly like you, mate. I toed and froed and looked at the vision multiple times again. I watched the highlights again and again and again. Look, I'm going to go for Hopkins by decision as well, and it probably would be a split decision for him. One of the main reasons, I must admit, it was a little bit, I suppose, easier to pick Bernard Hopkins. I had a really good look at both the records, and it's not Monzon's fault by any way. He ruled for a long time. He had a lot of defence. You know that. But I just think Hopkins's quality of opposition was slightly better. That's not Monzon's fault. I think he fell into the Hagler Triple G category of just not having that really, all those dance partners. Hagler got him later on in his career, obviously, but Triple G later as well against Canelo. But I just think, with Hopkins fighting the Tarvers and Roy Jones Juniors and all these guys, I just think he had, and Trinidad and De La Hoya and all these guys, I just think if you look at Monzon's record that we put up before, really, Emil Griffith and hang on, I'll just put it up here again. He had, you see there,
Jose Napoles.
Yeah, I mean,
Lenny Briscoe.
Napoles. He was. I mean, they're great fighters, but I just don't think they're in the same category as Hopkins' opponent. Now, I know you can't really just hold them to that, because at the end of the day, some great fighters are better than others, and they haven't had the same quality of opposition. I understand that, but that was probably the thing that tipped me over the edge. I just think too that Monzon wasn't a really fast middleweight either, so I don't think that's going to really trouble Hopkins. Hopkins not the fastest guy either, but he struggled a little bit with guys with speed, and I just think Monzon, who didn't have that speed or the movement a lot, and I just think that played into Hopkins' hands. I just think that would be enough to tip him over the edge and give Hopkins a split decision. But that's awesome, though. You've gone by Monzon split. I've gone for Hopkins by split, which means it's probably one of the best.
I'm not arguing with you one bit. I'm not arguing because mate, it's a 50-50 fight, mate. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Great. That's why I picked it, Lyndon. I picked it for that reason.
Nah, I love it, mate. I love it. And I would really love... These are the type of fights where we need Mike Altamura involved, because he can really bring another dimension with the old-time fighters, I think. So if you're watching, Mike, come back soon and come
Mike,
on. But
come back.
We'll do our best, mate. But like, look, I suppose the evidence of or the sign of a really good dream fight is when we just have no idea, no clue, and that's pretty rare in all the fights we've done. Because all the winners we've picked in all our fights, so I think we've all been pretty definitive on most of the ones we've picked. But this one was really, really tough. So, mate, that's a great pick by you. I'm not going to actually announce mine yet, because I've got a few that I'm thrown up, but I think I'd rather just keep it a surprise, to be honest, for everyone. I think that from going forward, I think we keep it a surprise and just get it out there, but I'll let you guys know. But, mate, awesome job. Really appreciate you doing it from your car. I know it mustn't be easy, so appreciate that, mate. You also look like you've had a big day, a bit tired, so I really appreciate you coming on and getting the show wrapped up.
My pleasure, mate. No worries.
No worries, mate. We'll see you next week for another episode of Dream Fights. Make sure you get those requests in, and we'll do our best to cover them. Thanks again, mate. We'll see you then. See you, mate.